World Immunization Week 2025 live session. My name is Award Joyce, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this very important conversation on HPV single dose and nutrition for adolescent well being. So, I'm a registered clinical dietitian nutritionist with a strong background in disease prevention, clinical care, and nutrition education. With close to a decade of experience in clinical nutrition, I'm the founder of Diet Select, which is a consultancy focused on using food as medicine across the life cycle, basically from conception to chronic disease management. I've worked with institutions like Aga Khan, Coptic, and currently I consult at Waridi Children's Medical Center. I've also served as lecturer at KMTC, and I lead the health professional sector at All Saints Cathedral Church. I'm passionate about making nutrition science practical and accessible, and tonight I'm honored to guide this conversation that sits right at the intersection of prevention, protection, and empowerment. We will be unpacking how a simple single dose of the HPV vaccine, which is now endorsed by global health authorities, how it can protect adolescents from life-threatening diseases like cervical cancer. But we'll also shine a spotlight on nutrition, which is often overlooked, but it is an essential pillar for a strong immune system and lifelong health because a well fed body is better prepared to respond to vaccines, fight infections, and thrive long term. So, this session is proudly sponsored by our partners, the Nutrition Association of Kenya, Kenya Pediatric Research Consortium, which is Capricorn, and Nutrition and Dietetics Association. We are truly grateful for their dedication to adolescent health. Now, to help us dive deep into this conversation, I'm delighted to welcome our guest speaker, Jesse Davis. Jesse is a dedicated clinical nutritionist with over a decade of experience in both county and private healthcare settings. He has a strong passion for preventative care and community well being, and notably led a diabetes prevention program at Thika Level 5 Hospital. Jesse is a mentor and trainer with the Nutrition and Dietetic Academy of Kenya and holds training in clinical and community nutrition, pediatric and neonatal nutrition, and also trains in healthcare systems. He is currently pursuing a master's in public health with a focus on nutrition epidemiology and immunization. We are honored to give we are honored to have him guide us through this important conversation, and I know you'll enjoy learning from him. So let's get started. Jesse, it's such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much, and it's an honor to be in this program and on this platform.
Okay, so let's begin by helping our audience understand. World Health Immunization Week normally reminds us of the immense progress that has been made in protecting health through vaccines. However, adolescent health often remains under discussed. Could you briefly tell us why World sorry, could you briefly tell us why World Immunization Week is so important, especially for adolescents?
Yeah, the World Immunization Week is a global reminder of the incredible roles that vaccines has played in saving lives across the nations of the earth. For adolescents, this week highlights the transition from childhood to adult, which is a very critical phase where establishing a strong immunity and a defense is important to prevent future illnesses. So by focusing on immunization, we will not just only protect individuals, but we also foster healthier communities, create a healthier community as well, reducing disease transmission at all levels, and empowering young people to make informed health decisions. Yeah, that is the major reason why this week is so important, especially for the adolescents.
Thank you for that insightful answer. Building on that, there is growing awareness about the HPV vaccine, yet many still wonder what it exactly entails. So, in terms, what is the HPV vaccine and why has it become such a major focus globally?
Like any other vaccine, it's about preventions of infections in future. So the HPV vaccine prevents infection caused by the papillomavirus, which is um, known for a pathogenic link to cervical cancer, penile, and other cancer. So recently it has been highly spotlighted that it has grown due to well, update research supporting a simplified dosing schedule, and it's significant um, to enable to reduce the cancer incidence. For the single dose coming in place is just a shift that will make the vaccine more accessible and cost effective, especially important to regions where healthcare resources are limited. So reducing it into a single dose, yeah, is a milestone that have been achieved.
Okay, now that we've established that, understandably, people question whether fewer doses could mean less protection. So basically, how effective is a single HPV vaccine dose compared to multiple doses according to the latest scientific evidence?
Yeah, according to the World Health Organization in 2022, there was an update that was recommended due to research that were conducted across various world-renowned organizations, especially um, the CDC, and they said that there are emerging evidences that show adolescents have a very robust immune response to just one dose. And recent clinical trials indicate that the single dose regimen is nearly as effective as multiple doses. So this adjustment minimizes logistical hurdles, reducing costs, and improves vaccine coverage, which are particularly um, uh, main concern in low income country or resource or settings where scheduling multiple doses or multi doses can be challenging, and also being accessible to everyone across the population become a challenge. So reducing it into a single dose definitely will make everyone to have, and the accessible or the accessibility will be very easy. So yeah, that is
O-
the evidence coming
o-
up. Yeah.
Okay, shifting slightly, but still staying connected to what you said. Different populations might have different vaccine needs. Are there particular age groups or health conditions where people would be recommended to have the HPV vaccine, or any condition
Okay.
to discourage that as well?
Okay. Like in terms of age group, the single dose regimen is generally recommended for healthy adolescents aged 9 to 14. So
Mm,
as their immune system or naturally respond vigorously. However, for older adolescents or those with co-premise immune system, a more traditional multiple dose schedule must still be recommended to ensure adequate protection or overall tailoring the approach, meaning individualizing this approach based on age and health status, help maximize the vaccine efficiency.
mm. Okay. So, despite vaccine availability, uptakes rates in many regions remain suboptimal. What might be some of the key barriers to HPV vaccination among adolescents, particularly here in Kenya, and how can that be addressed?
Okay, there are so many things we can look at. In Kenya, to be specific, barriers include limited access to healthcare facilities, insufficient public awareness, cultural
Mm,
misconceptions, logistical challenges in reaching rural populations, and occasional vaccine supply issues. To tackle these things, there are strategies that need to be put in place, such as school-based vaccination program, community outreaches, education or campaigns using social media like Twitter, Facebook, X Space, like what we're doing, and partnering with local leaders can actually help to build trust and improve accessibility, especially where there are very strong uh, ethnicity in terms of protecting their cultural heritage, not to be penetrated by quote unquote Western ideas. So, partnering with these local leaders will really help to build that trust to improve the accessibility. So, again, tailoring communication that addresses local concern and myth is a key to increasing this uptake of the vaccine by every ones across the population.
okay. Now, to bring nutrition into the picture, Nutrition and immunity are normally tightly interconnected, especially during growth years. So, how does good nutrition influence the body's immune response to vaccines like HPV?
So, the importance of nutrition here, good nutrition supply their building blocks for the body in terms of fuel to strengthen the immune system. Nutrients like vitamin A, C, D, and E, which we all know they are um, anti-inflammatory in terms of production of antioxidant. So along with minerals such as the zinc and selenium are essential for the proper functioning of the immune cells. So while the adolescents maintain a balanced diet, which includes sources of food that are rich in these nutrients, will help their body uh, to become well equipped to mount a strong, lasting response to this vaccination. So, ensuring that the immune system can produce and sustain a protective antibodies. And remember that antibodies are the coding structure that are produced to be able to identify the strains of this virus or bacteria in the future. So it's very, very important to have a very strong immune system. When your immunity is strong, then definitely your antibodies are going to be very sensitive to capture everything that needs to be captured for the genetic coding to be established so that in the future, this child will be protected against this virus.
Okay, so that's a very powerful point, and it brings me to another related question. Some nutrients are especially critical during adolescence. Would you say that there are particular vitamins or minerals that will play a pivotal role in optimizing HPV vaccine effectiveness?
Yes, there are several of them that stand up very well. We start with vitamin C. Why vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that enhances immune cell activities and fight oxidative stress. So know that when these viruses are introduced into the body, definitely the body will start operating on the stress that will prompt out the immune response, which might lead to inflammatory actions that could lead to oxidative stress. So the vitamin C is there to minimize that effect. And then the impact of the vitamin C on the HPV, it helps to prevent cervical cell or damage caused by persistent HPV1 infection, which is the human papillomavirus. So, what are the sources of vitamin C? You get them from citrus fruits or the bell pepper, the one that is referred to also as capsicum, or in the local language, they are called pili pili hoho. Strawberries, green leafy vegetables, um, kiwi fruits. These are about few that are very rich in vitamin C. Vitamin E is also another important one. And why are they important? Because they protect cell membrane from oxidative damage and support immune function. So the impact on the HPV reduces inflammation and enhances the body ability to clear the virus. Sources
Mm.
like nuts, especially almond, sea, spinach, and sunflower oil. So those are very, very important sources of vitamin E. And then not or the least, one of them that we can also look up to are the B vitamins, including vitamin B9 and B12 to be very specific. Starting from B9, they are very crucial for DNA repair and cell replications. So, what are their impact on the HPV? Deficiency might increase the cervical dysplasia in terms of uh, making this person to be susceptible to the HPV virus, which might increase the replication of their DNA that might break down the cell ability very fast. So the sources are legumes, dark leafy green vegetables, fortified greens, especially the breakfast cereals that you can get from the supermarket. Yeah, among
Mhm.
others. So those are the importance. Yeah.
Thank you for that insightful answer. Let's now turn to the community's role in this. Family, school, and community environments normally influence adolescent nutrition. What practical strategies can be implemented to improve adolescent nutrition at home and also in schools?
So there are practical approaches which are very, very important, and I believe some of them have been implemented by the government, and some implementation still need to be enforced so that it can be well rooted and become a routine or a culture within our society. One of them is the family participation, engaging in meal planning that emphasizes whole foods over processed snack, especially among school-going kids who are at school going ages. Most of them, they carry processed food and snack like crepes, popcorn there, they have some donuts there, they have some cakes here, then they are taken to school, which is okay, but making sure that the food choices becoming more healthy will be one of the way that the family can play a role. That's where most of the nutrition consultancy frame comes in, where if they don't have an idea, they can actually have an access to this area to be guided on how to make food choices for their kids. Schools should
Mm.
also be a part by implementing nutritional education, providing healthy, balanced meal option through school lunch programs, and then the community as a whole can also play a role, organizing local initiatives such as community gardens, farmer markets, where they direct the family of those communities to go and make sure that the purchases are done from this farm to have both while full items over the processed food.
Okay. So that leads directly into a key concern we've had from the public that globally, both undernutrition and overweight rates are increasingly, or rather, they are increasing among adults. How do these nutrition related health issues impact vaccine effectiveness and general adolescent health?
It's very important. Both undernutrition and obesity can compromise immune functions. Undernutrition weaken the body ability to mount an effective defense, while obesity is often associated with chronic inflammatory and immune or dysregulation or dysregulatory or aspects of the body in terms of improving and boosting the body's sensitivity to some of these invading pathogen. So based on these things, these factors can deepen the vaccine response and if elevate the risks for chronic disease. Therefore, malnutrition in any form can affect cognitive development, energy level, and overall well-being, making it crucial to address this issue alongside immunization efforts.
Okay, so now that we've established that, let's explore the next layer. In many programs, health interventions tend to work in silos, yet integrating services can amplify impact. Would you recommend combining immunization drives with nutrition programs for adolescents? And if you do, how might that look practically?
Integrating is very, very important. It would go back again to what we have been talking about. Integrating or immunization with nutrition intervention offer a comprehensive approach to adolescent health. One of them is an ADU program, which are community-based in school centers, providing vaccination clinic alongside nutrition assessment, dietary counseling, and education, which can be rooted involving communities leaders to be translated into or the various or ethnic groups at their dialects, they're dialectically getting these people involved so that this information can get to the community base. And then in school, even they can introduce a course where nutrition is properly taught. This program will be able to collaborate with healthcare providers, educators, and local organizations to include physical activities, mental health support, creating a holistic model that addresses the multifaceted needs of adolescents, paying attention to their nutritional needs. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Jesse. Jesse, can you hear me? Jesse? Jesse, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Um, how does good
Joyce, we
nutrition
lost.
strengthen the immune? Yes. So, how does good nutrition strengthen the immune response to vaccines like the HPV vaccine? Jesse?
Yeah, can you repeat that?
The question was that how does good nutrition strengthen the immune response to vaccines like the HPV vaccine?
Okay, good nutrition is very important. We actually were able to look at that aspect of how good nutrition strengthens, like for example, um, food that are rich in antioxidant like the vitamin A, vitamin C, E, and and D. They are very important because in good nutrition you will find out like the
Sorry, guys, am
immune
I back?
response. Hello.
Jesse, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Like what I was saying, to be specific, like those or vitamins like vitamin or A or C, D, E, K, they are powerful antioxidant that enhances the immune activities and fight oxidative stress. So their impact on the HPV vaccine, it helps to prevent or cervical cell damage caused by or persistent HPV infection, which are something that we are trying to prevent. That's why vaccines are given. So if good nutrition is in the system and the body immune system is built, then definitely the efficiency of the vaccine will be felt, and the power of the antibody that's supposed to what improve the genetic coding to be able to identify the antigen that will be produced by the virus in future become very effective. So that coding is well established, and that child will be prevented from further health issues or cervical cancer in the future.
Okay, thank you. So that response sets the stage perfectly for our next discussion. Not everyone engaging with adolescents is a healthcare worker. Basically, parents, teachers, and we also have community leaders who also have a role. So, how can non medical professionals contribute meaningfully to promoting both HPV vaccination and also good adolescent nutrition?
So non-medical profession often serve as trusted figures in community. These are teachers who might improve health education in school circular. And then you also have parents who can also foster healthy eating habits, encourage the children or these adolescents to adhere to this foundation, because um, in the home, parents play the role of a mentor. So they are able to have greater influences on this adolescent to be able to adhere to
Mm,
a good eating habit, and also adhere to vaccination schedules and timetable, encouraging them that this is a good thing for them. They should engage in it because in the future they are going to be well protected and they will benefit from it. And then also workers within the community who might not really be directly linked with a healthcare profession might also support outreaches particularly among vulnerable groups, helping in distributions of resources that will help to empower these youth or adolescent in adherence to proper vaccination education and within the community, and their involvement will help to demystify medical information, dispel myth, and also ensure that accurate health messages will be able to penetrate the daily life of the people that are concerned within those communities.
Okay. So in the interest of time, what are the parents often will ask for simple, everyday advice that they can simply or easily apply. So, what quick practical tips would you give to families to help adolescents stay healthy through good nutrition and timely immunization?
One man advice will be one eating a balanced meal. When you talk about eating a balanced meal, is just ensuring that each meal will have all of the components to be there throughout the day, like including fruits. Make sure those fruits that are rich in those vitamins that we talk about and minerals, especially for the vitamin C, like the sapphire fruits, those ones of like the kiwi, the bell pepper. Make sure that every time you are cooking, you have the inclusivity of those aspects of the food being captured in terms of vegetables, and then protein should be there, whole grains should be there instead of just going to buy food from the roaster or grabbing a plate of chips and then soda. Yeah, because you feel you are hungry, so you need to eat, and then you get something which might not be healthy in terms of the nutritional components. And then they should stay active, encouraging regular physical activities, limiting sedentary habits, taking a walk as a family in the evening. You are scheduling some activities that will allow these adolescents to move their body, be happy, yes, to burn some um, uh, body fats to improve muscular strength. So keeping up with vaccination and health checkups, yes, and then not following myth in the society or in the environment saying that this is not supposed to be given because it will increase or your fatality or so those kind of myth there in the society. And then
Mm.
foster open communication, talking about health openly to teenagers, feel empowered to ask questions, tell them if they have anything on their mind, it can be discussed, and then so that they can receive the rightful information so that they don't become resistant to this information that they might receive that could benefit them, such as going for the HPV vaccine.
Okay, great. So I'll try to tie in two questions in under one. And let's turn into the community role. So basically, we live in a digital age where misinformation spreads faster than facts. So one of the question is, how can the public differentiate between credible health information and myth, especially around vaccine and nutrition? And do you have any major myth or a- any misinformation about HPVs that is common? And what, or rather, would you like to correct today?
Um, Looking at the overload of online information, it is essential
Mm.
to turn to a well-established, credible sources, especially for those models that are always on the social media, Googling, reading information here and there. And these information should be counter checked. And how do you check them? For example, check for publication from major health organizations like the World Health Organization or the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And then you look at peer review that are scientific based. And then the domains of those websites that you are reading should carry education like edu, org, and then you will see the name of those organizations that are associated with those information being published on those websites, evaluating these credentials and the people who wrote them is very, very important. And then developing strong media literacy skills by increasing the importance in digital is such as making sure that every time you are listening to an information, it should come from a credible source, maybe like the Citizen TV, NTV, or like the Daily Nations. Yeah, these are credible sources for news and media that give information that are confirmed, that are proven, and they are science based if it is scientific information. Yeah, and then
Okay.
another thing is developing a strong understanding about what you are about to communicate, even if you got it from a social media, so that you don't become the one to promote and fuel the dissemination of wrong information to these adolescents.
Okay. Any misinformation or myth that you would like to correct today?
Um, when it comes to myth, one of these myths that I have been hearing consistently is the vaccine will increase uh, the libido of these adolescents so that they can become very reproductive, or it might lead to promiscuous, for them to become promiscuous. So it's not true. Multiple
Mm,
studies have shown on um, like undeniable undeniable and proven information that the vaccine does not impact behavioral changes or related to any sexual activity or will increase any form of multiple birth or whatever. So these are myths that are there, which is not true. Instead, the vaccine is very clear with the information it benefits, preventing cancer later on in life, especially cervical cancer, and underscoring that the decision to vaccinate is purely one of a long-term health protection, where these informations are given to these adolescents that taking this vaccine, you not just do a good thing for you, but it's also for your family in the future, because when you are healthy, you are going to have a healthy family. So those myths of increasing promiscuity or making you to have multiple birth or might expose you to other maybe making you to become infertile, all those myths surrounding
mm,
it is not true. The
mm.
vaccine is proven scientifically and it is evidence based.
Okay. As we come to the tail end, every great movement starts with a few simple but powerful actions. So even as we come to the tail end, if you could recommend three urgent actions that communities or even the adolescents themselves should take today to promote adolescent health, what would these three urgent actions be?
One, combating misinformation. Misinformation spread like wildfire. So
Mm,
developing a targeted communication strategies, like anytime they want to read information, should be from a credible source like the one we were talking about, to address myth and promote scientifically backed information through community leaders and multiple media channels. So anytime they want information, this information must be confirmed by a credible high figure personality who has credibility in terms of uh, disseminating scientific information, media that are trustworthy, yeah, and not just information randomly picked from people opinions, and then you build on it to make decisions. The second one is integrated health services, and this is where the system should create accessibility of health care services to these community-based or individual, create community-based programs, offer uh, this combined vaccination, nutrition, and wellness support in terms of education, so that people can know the role of nutrition, the role of vaccine, and also their own individual responsibility in making informed decisions as far as their health are concerned. And then finally, to enhance health education, such as implementing and sustaining comprehensive health education initiatives that cover both immunization and nutrition. It's very, very important, because without nutrition, the immune structure of the body might not be able to respond effectively to the vaccine. Because
okay.
an immune system that is weak, the antibody definitely will be weak, and then the vaccine will not be efficient. So, yeah, those are the three important information that I can leave with our audience: enhance health education, integrate health services, and combating misinformation within the society.
Thank you so much, Jesse, for your time, expertise, and powerful insights. So, today's discussion reminded us that protecting adolescent health is not just about vaccines or food in isolation. It's about connecting science to action, and prevention to empowerment. We've heard how a single dose of the HPV vaccine can offer lasting protection and how good nutrition amplifies that protection. We've also explored the myths and barriers, and most importantly, their solutions. So, to everyone who's listening, let's keep this conversation going in our homes, schools, clinics, and communities. Share what you've learned, encourage young people to get vaccinated, and continue supporting better nutrition where you are. Again, this session was proudly brought to you by NAC, Nutrition Association of Kenya, Capricorn, and also the NDA, Nutrition Dietetics of Association. My name is Award Joyce, and it's been a privilege to moderate today's session. Let's continue working together for healthier futures, one conversation at a time. Good night, and thank you.